were $1,000, and I think a lot of people would have gone to an Apple store to get a new battery. And where Apple really missed out is, I think some of those people would have walked in to get a $79 battery and would have walked out with a $799 new iPhone. So there was really an opportunity they didn't take. So I'm not willing to say that this is a conspiracy or some kind of way to trick people into buying new iPhones.
What about $29 for a battery? Isn't that the current rate?
Well, that's right. I mean, it was $79 until they lowered it to $29. And frankly, my advice to anyone who's keeping an iPhone for more than 6 months is go get that $29 battery. That's a great price for an upgrade. And you know what? This deal may only last a year. Go get another one before they yank the plan on the thing. Adding a battery is proven in the iPhone 6 and older that it fixes the slowdown. Not sure if it's going to make a big difference in the 7 or not, but given what you paid for a phone and what you would pay for a new phone, paying $29 as a little piece of insurance is really a smart idea.
And even if your older iPhone isn't being throttled, you have no reason to believe you still probably could benefit from the battery.
I think that's absolutely true, and I think some people are probably having some slowdown experience, and it's so imperceptible they don't even realize it. And again, that's why I think going out and spending $29 is really smart. I think almost anybody that does
this guy
this
shill
is
for
going
Apple?
to see some kind of change in the speed of their phone. And even if you don't see a change in the speed of your phone, it's going to hold a charge longer, so you're going to win no matter what.
Now, these battery apps that I started our conversation with, it's my understanding nothing beats going to the Apple Store to see truly what your current battery is going through. Is it all right? Does it need to be replaced? Do you agree that that's probably worth it? Or do you then run the risk of the very savvy people in there trying to rope you into buying a new phone instead?
I don't see the people at Apple stores being that kind of high-pressure salespeople. I think people do a fine enough job just selling themselves on Apple products and tech products in general. That being said, you know, the initial idea here from Apple was they were lowering the price of a battery from $79 to $29, and they were going to test the phone to see if it would make a difference. Now they've abandoned the whole test part. If you want to pay $29 for a battery, my understanding is you can step right up and pay $29 and get a battery. They're not even going to bother to test it, and my guess is one of the reasons they don't want to test it is it takes time, and they got a lot of people that want a lot of batteries.
You weren't exactly easy on them at the beginning of our conversation, but you framed it more like they made some mistakes, but that they're not, you know, this terrible entity that really screwed up and lied to us. Is that a fair characterization of where you're at?
Yeah, I think their failures here were more of a PR and a customer service failure, not really a technical failure. If this fix of theirs had worked, we never would have heard about it. And there's thousands of things tech companies are fixing in devices like phones. They can't tell you about every one, and they can't possibly know which one's not going to work. I'm sure Apple did a ton of testing here. In this case, the fix didn't work and the testing didn't work. Well, now we are where we're at, and I think it's a boon for most people, as I've said before.
So what we have here is planned obsolescence that's being categorized as a technical failure, a battery error that's causing the slowdowns of things and whatnot. No, it's planned obsolescence. And what it comes down to is that the PR department, along with the tech geeks, implemented a way to evade some of these scrutinizations. And they're basically framing the situation before it becomes more... Because a few gurus came out saying, like, this is what's happening with Apple. Bringing Apple decided to, like, hey, get on the button and do something about it. When we've known this for years. I'm pretty certain in one of my many videos I've actually, explained this. But that's what, happens with iOS, independent operating systems and such. Well, I shouldn't say, just independent, like all operating systems. It's planned obsolescence. Things are set to perform at a certain specification for a duration of time, and once that time has expired, planned obsolescence kicks in, And it's like, oh, well, it's pretty crazy. My warranty just expired, and now I'm having all these issues. There is conspiracy. It's plain obsolescence. It's consumerism. Apple has been barely able to maintain this threshold of its worth, essentially. And this is a way to mitigate around it. Because when did Steve Jobs die? And you know, and that's a huge factor in it too, because Steve Jobs was the visionary behind Apple, and we're a consumerist economy, and what the snake oil salesman is selling a remedy for the infection that they sold you in the first place. And this is why I don't use Apple products. Because it's a very niche-y thing. And most of the people within my age range think of it as a status symbol for electronics, when it's not. The planned obsolescence. Create the problem and sell a solution. So went from $79 to $29. Oh, is that because y'all got caught? And then like, oh, we just don't want to, we don't want to, we'll just sell you the battery for $29 and no ifs, ands, or buts about it. We don't want to run diagnostics on your contraption because it just takes too much time and it's cheap for... No, that's because there are more phones that are investigated will show, it'll provide more data points for the consumer reporters, I should say. Take care, be safe, be kind, stay strong, love you all. And 7 degrees. 7 degrees.